Hello everyone, Tesla Trooper here with another Commander Wars replay. Today, I am going to be playing TMI on A Forlorn, playing as Peter and Julia. Starting here with Peter, he is Green Earth's direct attack specialist. He's quite different from Max because his units don't have a direct attack firepower buff. Rather, they have a attack bonus that is decreased by the amount of terrain stars the enemy sits on. So if he attacks on, say, a road, he will have a higher bonus, but if he attacks in a forest or a city, that bonus will be reduced. His cozone has a range of 3 and buffs his direct attack bonus up to 50%. And with his power, that spreads it to the entire army. And then his superpower deals 2 damage to any units that are not currently on a building and boosts his buff up to 60%. Moving on to Julia here, she is from Dark Matter, and she's a very interesting co. Inside her co-zone, her units lose firepower, but their firepower does not decline with their reduction in HP. So if you have a 5 health tank, it's going to attack like a 10 health tank. In addition to this, her power and superpower reduce the number of enemy units that are able to move per turn all the way up to 100%, allowing her army to move 1 full turn without a response from the enemy. And with that, let's get the tanks rolling. So here we are back again on A Forlorn. Myself as Peter is going to be on the right hand side, and Julia, played by TMI, is on the left. So to start out, both of us know that we immediately want to capture that neutral factory to the north and south of our starting positions. And then this time I had a better idea of how I wanted to open and push for the airport to the south there. And by day 3, both of us are pushing out with motorbikes, and TMI decides to cap the city to the south of his northern factory, getting a slight income lead ahead of me. So one of the few things that I really haven't iterated on much is the changes between the normal Advanced Wars and Commander Wars. One of the big things here is the motorbike unit. It has a movement range of 5, which gives you quite a lot of distance that you can maneuver with it, and allows for fast capping, although it's hindered by beaches and forests. And I'm not sure where it fits in the meta yet. It's stronger than the infantry in that it can tank shots from tanks and stuff like normal infantry used to be able to, which is one of the other differences of this game. But the maneuverability is definitely its greatest asset, along with the damage that it's able to receive and stay alive rather than getting one shot most of the time like the infantry do. So we'll see a lot of maneuvering with the motorbikes. TMI makes very good use of them throughout the game, and it's one of those things that I'm not sure what the balancing is on it, but it seems to do its job very well. So day 7 here, I got a recon out on, I believe, day 5, and I'm already pushing it up there towards the north. In response to that, TMI built a tank which will pretty much shut down any incursion with the recon there up in the north. So I stay a little more to the mid with it, and then build tank, a APC, and a mech unit to supplement my snipers that I have. Day 7 for Julia here. She continues her push in the mid with all her bike units and continues up north, capping that comm tower, moves the tank out, and she's already made it over halfway into the mid, capturing all 3 of her middle structures there, and even has started capping in the south there, whereas I haven't reached my 3 structures in the mid or the city there north of that middle mountain range. And this really makes me feel like I'm running behind in the early game. Day 8 here for myself. I managed to finally start capping one of the cities to the north there and start pushing my infantry and tanks into the north to get to those cap positions that I sorely need to catch up on. And I moved my recon into the mid to prevent any infantry or bikes from moving on any of those 3 buildings in the mid. Managed to get my comm tower this turn and the airport, and put another tank in the south. Day 8 for Julia. She manages to get her comm tower, and right now she's matching me for tank. Or is she? Yes, and she moves out with her recon unit and starts harassing my motorbikes there on my southern flank, and then moves in with her set of motorbikes to finish them off. And with that, she ends her turn buying 2 tanks in the south and an infantry in the north. So by day 9 here, you can see that the battle lines are slowly starting to form up. We've had an initial couple skirmishes in the south there, which cost me a bike, and it's not looking too hot for me on the north front because I don't want to commit my commander tank to engaging his tank up there just yet when there's threats down in the south that need to be dealt with, especially since he has quite the mass of infantry and motorbikes that are moving in. I end up getting a battlecopter and an artillery this turn to help maybe stabilize the north, and some air to help deal with the aggression down south. Fortunately, Julia takes her turn to solidify her gains there in the south, starting to build up all her troops there in the southern tip of that mountain range there in the mid. She can push either north or south with them, and it was very, very scary trying to figure out how to maneuver my troops around and determine which way she was going to take her forces the next turn. Regardless, I got to keep capping and moving my forces up. I retreat out of the mid a little bit while being able to put pressure down. I got my sniper and my APC unit paired up so I can drop them around and deal with any capping infantry that aren't supported very well. Day 10 for Julia. She continues solidifying her grip on the southern portion of that mountain range, bringing in 2 tanks, and she has another 3 tanks there in the south that are going to meet up there eventually. Fortunately for me, TMI didn't push too much aggression there in the north, opting to let his tanks sit back and let me form a battle line there with my infantry. But I'm sitting here all the while wary of the AA gun that's moving up, and knowing that he could dive on my southern flank or my mid at any point in time. With turn 11 here, that's exactly what happens. TMI starts pushing to the south there, capping my city there just south of my comm tower. No real damage has been done at this point, but it's clear that next turn there's going to have to be an engagement. Turn 12's big for Julia. She pushes into my forces that concentrate in the south there. She opens up with the AA gun, and the tanks start rolling in, butchering my forces that I have in the vicinity. While up north, she solidifies her battle line with a tank, a battlecopter, and an artillery supported by infantry. Turn 13 was quite the mess for me, with TMI pushing into my southern front. I really wasn't prepared to respond to that all that well. I moved my artillery down to further solidify that position, but I didn't have enough armor to go around and deal with everything. My game plan was to get damage onto the AA gun, but my 5 HP tank moving against TMI's 3 HP tank managed to survive, which really set me back as I was planning on engaging the AA gun with my full health tank there sitting on the city. And so at that point I knew I was going to lose a helicopter, and there was nothing I could do about it. So I went and put chip damage on all of his tanks the best I could do, but looking back at that, with Julia's co-power allowing you to do damage, full health damage, regardless of the amount of damage she has on her units, really set me back, because we have that 1 HP tank annihilating a 5 HP tank that I have. So here I end up losing the helicopter that's all the way westward, and Julia continues to move in, putting damage on my snipers and deleting the tanks that I had in range on the south flank here. She does manage to capture that southern city, which was quite disastrous for me, but it's not a nail in the coffin as of yet, but it matches up our building count at this point in the game, and I was really set back here. All my tanks on the southern front were low health, and I had 2 helicopters here to deal with a full health anti-air. The tanks are all moving in around my comm tower, preventing my movement to retaliate there. And with another AA gun coming in, my helicopters can't move too close without getting deleted again. So this turn I end up popping General Offensive. It gives all my units plus 50 bonus damage based on the amount of terrain stars the enemy has, which is really effective here for when I'm attacking this attack helicopter. So I ended up sacrificing a bunch of my infantry to get down that helicopter so it wouldn't do too much damage on my northern front in the event that I would lose the AA gun. Down south, I try and chip away at the remainder of his low health forces, but he's pretty entrenched there. He's capping my comm tower, and TMI has everything set up for, if he wants to push, he could probably push all the way to my southern factory there. So I take this time and use my units in the mid. I start pushing in with some infantry and my commander tank to cut off the forces there that are pushing into my southern flank, and use my helicopters to clean up some tanks. And I do manage to put some hurt on the AA gun there with my 5 health tank, which really helped out, because I was going to lose another helicopter unit regardless at this point. Day 14 for Julia, first thing she does is roll out and blast away that helicopter that I had unprotected, and then she runs into the other helicopter, brings it down to 6 HP, nearly finishes capping the comm tower. So my snipers managed to hold out on the mountain range there from the recon, and TMI has to respond to my capping infantry there in the mid, and decides to go for the recon rather than the motorbike unit, which I would have rather gone for the motorbike unit to deal with the cap potential that it has. But at this point, since it's sitting there in the beaches, it can't do anything. It can't move out towards the cap or towards the HQ, I'm sorry, or that city to the north of it. Up north, he retaliates with the artillery and his infantry, and brings that 4 health copter into the mid to try and dispatch that infantry, and solidifies his battle lines up north. Turn 15, I roll out and nearly destroy the AA gun that moved to reinforce in the south, and I start capping my city there south of the mountain range, and reinforce with a transport copter and a mech, and I bring my 6 HP copter to finish off the AA guns, eliminating the anti-air presence in the south. And then I bring in my tank to prevent the cap of my comm tower, which probably would have sealed the rest of the game for me. To the north, I retreat my forces there a little bit. He's got his co-power, and I need to be really wary, because if I get caught out of position, Julia could potentially destroy an entire flank, and that would be game over for myself. So Julia puts some chip damage on my infantry that are capping my southern city there, and destroys the recon, opening up a attack on my 3 HP sniper and potentially on my commander tank there. The helicopter flexes back to the north there and puts a little bit of chip damage on my infantry there, and he rolls up his forces, his artillery there, to basically lock down that north flank. There's nothing that I can do to push. This turn, I realize that I gotta move out again, and I pop my power. I built a bomber the last turn. It was with the loss of the AA gun, I needed something that could hit hard against the Neo tank, and I wanted to prevent further pushing into my southern flank, and TMI reacted with 2 AA guns there. So that bomber had its intended effect. It held him off the southern flank. I don't know if that was his game plan or just something that popped into my mind, but I take this turn with my power to try and mop up all the low health forces. Originally, I was going to try and go for the commander kill on that Neo tank, but the combination of my mechs, my helicopters, and my tanks that I had in the area just weren't going to do it for me, so I ended up sending the mech to attack the tank there on the city, which it did decent damage, but it wasn't anything that was really going to help me, but other than force him to get some repair costs. And at this point in the game, I timed out. We had 5-minute turns going, and I was sitting there stalling, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my remainder of my forces, and so that's why we see this little pause here when the game crashed, which fortunately I was able to get this turn save, so we were able to start where we left off, and it automatically skips to Julia's turn due to my turn timing out. And with that, we have turn 16 here for Julia, and she opens up to the south with a tank charge into my forces. and fully charges her superpower. Now, Julia's interesting because in her co-zone, she has a 70%, or her units only get a 70% attack rating. When you pop her superpower, in this case, she would get a 80% attack rating rather than your average 100% with which her forces get outside of the co-zone. So that means ideally at the end of her turn she goes to pop her superpower, and then it gives her the added bonus of dealing damage with full damage with damaged units. But if you're going to use it when all your units are at full health, you really don't get the same effect, which you see here when she attacks the tank with her Commander Neo tank. Under normal conditions, that would probably destroy the light tank unit there, but with her forces being weakened by her superpower, it doesn't. You don't get as much benefit out of it attacking, but the lack of my ability to move the next turn is what is really crippling. As you can see, I'm already crippled by the fact that I didn't get to spend funds last turn. I ended up buying a stealth bomber and a Neo tank with it, and then she proceeds to get a whole nother turn here where she can finish off what she started. So fortunately, to the south there, I positioned my bomber just out of range of the second move of the AA gun. I do have to still be wary of it, but it doesn't come into play where I would lose my bomber immediately from her gaining her superpower. But the effects of day 16 and 17 here are quite crippling. And it turned into a cap race real quick here, as she has 24 buildings and I have 24 or 25 buildings as well. And the amazing thing is she did not continue her push in the south there and destroy that light tank or the infantry that was capturing her building there. So up north, she successfully removes the majority of my forces, pushing them past the entrance to her northern flank, and solidifies the presence with artillery and a bunch of infantry there. So yeah, this turn I do have 25 buildings and go up to 26 with them capturing that southern city. So I move out my stealth and begin my barrage of her forces there. It's more of a cleaning up action, and at this point in the game I was going to move towards a stalling retreat, trying to prevent the cap on my cities so I could maintain the building advantage. So by turn 21, I would win by default rather than win through military victory, which we did the day 20 to prevent longer games so they don't last all day long for both parties. Fortunately, most games with this rule set end up being about an hour long, so it's not too bad. And then not having the replay being the full player time really shortens the length of the games here, and the fact that I don't pause it. And that brings us to the end of the game. TMI decided that he didn't think he had the forces to cap the rest of my buildings at the end of the game. I think that was a mistake because he had till day 21 there, and it was very likely that he was going to be able to capture a handful of my buildings while I was not going to be able to secure buildings to the south or the mid that would keep the balance even or in my favor. So not seeing the game all the way to the end really, it could have gone either way, and it was a great match by TMI there. Well, thanks for watching today's video, and special thanks to TMI there for demonstrating that Julia's no slouch. Maybe in the future we'll play again with a different outcome, but yeah. So, special thanks to Robosturm for making this possible, and if you liked what you see, like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.